Hello and welcome everyone to the Tarot with Titania reading of the week for May 21st to 28th. May, the lovely month of May, is getting away from us. It always seems this time of year goes so quickly. Just invite you to take a few deep breaths, ground yourself, see a true root coming out of the base of your spine, going deep into Mother Earth and grounding you. And this not only anchoring you in your now moment here on Earth at this time, but also becoming a conduit through which anything that no longer serves you can easily pass down into Mother Earth and become compost for new growth. Creator, this is your daughter Titania. I'm here to do a reading for the highest and greatest benefit of everyone listening now and in the future. My intention is to be a clear channel for the information that is most needed right now, and to provide that in a manner that will be easily and effortlessly heard, understood, and integrated for the highest and greatest good of all those listening and all those whose life they touch, as well as the planet as a whole. I call upon my higher self and the higher selves of all those listening, as well as an overlighting angel of communication, to facilitate this exchange and ensure that it happens in the best way possible in the time that we have for the greatest good of all concerned. I'd also like to invite the four archangels to come and hold the four directions around us, creating a sacred container of light, of love, of healing, of transformation, of peace, of whatever it is that is in our collective heart and mind at this time for our greatest good. I invite Raphael to hold the east, Michael to hold the south, Gabriel to hold the west, and Uriel to hold the north. Thank you for coming. We set the tone for ease, for clarity, for wisdom, for transformation, for peace, for healing. Again, for anything that is in our collective heart and mind at this time, may it be addressed, may it be healed, may it be brought to the light so that we can move on powerfully and beautifully into this glorious life that we've come here to live. Anything that doesn't match our intentions or frequencies is welcome to go now. All right, let's get started then. What do we need to know for the coming week? What is in our highest and best interest to be aware of and practicing and developing in ourselves? Okay. This first card is the recent past. The influence is waning, but it continues into our present, into the future. So it's part of the picture. We have the Empress. We're starting with a major arcana. The Empress is creative imagination. It's that generative, creative energy that is within us and that we can tap into easily and effortlessly to create beautiful, wonderful things. The Empress is always pictured as being pregnant. She's in a beautiful garden. It's the height of summer. It's the most beautiful time of the day. She's surrounded by color and beauty and loveliness. So this is the energy of the recent past, is sort of this energy of generative possibility, this energy of creative imagination, of daydreaming, of imagining what we want and using our powers of imagination to create something in our lives. The power of imagination is incredibly important in the co-creative process with life. We need to be able to imagine what we want, how we're going to feel. That's actually the most powerful aspect of the co-creative process, is the feeling aspect. Putting yourself there. What would it smell like, taste like, see? What would you see? What would you feel? What would the sensory impressions be? What would it be like if you were actually there? And that's the power of the imagination, is our capacity to imagine ourselves in a new world, imagine ourselves in a different place, in a different relatedness to life on all levels. So this energy of the Empress, it is one of my favorite cards. I don't think we've seen it yet in the readings since the beginning of COVID, which I find fascinating. But this quality of generative, creative imagination is very, very compelling, very powerful. Children know how to do it. it's something that we kind of eventually train ourselves out of. Reading aloud to children is a wonderful way for them to develop their imagination because they create the pictures in their mind. So yes, this is in our recent past. The influence is waning, but it continues into our present, into our future. Let yourself daydream. Let yourself imagine your future, the future that you want, and the collective future that you would love to see for all of us moving forward. Where would we like to be? What would we like to have? How would that go? We don't need to have the micro details, but understanding how we'd like to feel. Everyone happy, thriving, fulfilled, using their gifts in a good way, contributing to the greater good in a meaningful way that is deeply satisfying and fulfilling. Everyone housed, fed, and given access to the learning that they seek to develop their gifts, their abilities, and their capacity to give to the world. These are wonderful, wonderful beginning places for this. And some of us have specific gifts that we're here to give. And so imagining from that place, imagining how your gifts could change the world. It's wonderful how you could show up in the world and be happy and fulfilled and thrive. And what would that feel like to you? What would that look like to you? You know, the quality of the people you would be around, the quality of the environments that you'd find yourself in. And again, envisioning our beautiful planet, whole, healthy, healed, with us working with her, not against her, not dominating her, but co-creating with her a magnificent planet of beauty, of well-being, of lots of wild natural places for the animals to thrive, places where we grow our food, but these places would be beautiful, honoring the earth, honoring the land, and us all co-creating in harmony with this beautiful planet and all that she has to offer us. So let yourself imagine. That's the message of the Empress. And imagine richly using your senses. The present environment, oh, very good. We have the High Priestess, another major arcana and another very feminine energy, very strong feminine energy with these two cards. You kind of have the polar ends of the feminine spectrum here. We have the mother, the maternal energy, the nurturer, the intuitive, the generous, holding, space holding, community holder, that kind of energy with the Empress. And then you have the High Priestess, who is very, very knowledgeable, very wise, but very, as I say, practical in a way. She doesn't suffer fools gladly. She understands the secrets of life and death and holds them in her hands. And she doesn't put up with nonsense that is undermining the wisdom of our connection to the planet, to the world, and our place in it. The kind of silly bunnies that you sometimes come across in the world. She is very, very strong, and she calls things as she sees them. Those are the sort of aspects or the qualities of the High Priestess. She also represents the collective unconscious, the collective field that we are all part of, that we all tap into when we sleep at night, for instance. That's the great water of the collective unconsciousness. That's the energy of the High Priestess. She's sitting in our present environment. And this is this time of going within, of learning to develop, of learning to use our intuitive knowing, our connection to this collective field, knowing, I mean, even just knowing that we're part of it changes how we interact with the world. You know, when you hear that expression, we are all one, it's true. We are all part of the same living field. We are individual, unique expressions of that living field, but we are part of it. And that's aspect of the High Priestess, that quality of connection, of wisdom, if we tap into it. And then living from that wisdom, putting it into practice, living from that more the hidden, the parts of the feminine that our culture is not very comfortable with. Again, intuition, psychic abilities, divination, those aspects of the self. It's interesting because, again, I don't think we've seen her very often either in the past past year or so. And so this is a call to going inward and developing your psychic abilities, your capacity to connect to that collective pool of wisdom and knowledge and pull it forth and channel it into life, using it as a powerful access tool for living the better life, living a fuller life in a good way, being of service from this, not using it to control others, but instead to be in greater service to life, because you understand that you're part of life and any contribution that you make is a blessing and helps move all of us forward. It's the energy of the present. Major arcana, 2 major arcanas. It's exciting stuff. I'll move it down so there's not so much glare. Okay, and now we have in the near future the Princess of Wands. The sort of feminine quality continues because we have a princess. In other decks, this would be a page in the hierarchy of the minor arcana. But it represents the same quality, which is a new beginning, a fresh start, in some cases it could be a baby, that kind of energy, that newness. We have the Ace, which is also a newness and a fresh start, but it's like the kernel of the oak tree, whereas this is something that's already kind of underway and thriving, and yet it's still fresh. It's still a new start. And here we have butterflies, which are messengers of the collective consciousness, bringing messages. And because it's wands, it's creativity, it's inspiration, it's passion. It's those things that light us up. It's the suit of fire. It's very enlivening and exciting, and it fuels our enthusiasm. And our enthusiasm is the trajectory that we want to live our life by, following our highest enthusiasm, the calling of our heart, the thing that gets us up out of bed in the morning excited and inspired and motivated. That is the energy, the fire energy, the inspiration energy. And so this is this fresh start on that inspiration energy, that new beginning that's generative and creative and inspiring. So that's sitting in our near future, this tapping into this generative energy. And it's fun because, of course, we have generative energy here and generative energy here. It's like this really strong pull to creative imagination, to creative output, to being in our now and channeling this wisdom, this knowingness, this collective consciousness in good ways, in beautiful ways, growing a garden, making food, making art, making music, making something, building things, being creative, working with your hands, being in the moment, being in your now. Very, very powerful for keeping us from falling off into a hole of misery. Because if you're in your past or in your future, you're not here now. And by working with your hands and being in this moment, creating, you're not wandering off into the future or into the past. You tend to stay right here in this generative space of now moment. Foundation of the reading, why we're having the reading. And we have another one. Major arcana. We have the Magician. The Magician, as you see, he's pulling water up from the ground. The Magician is powerful application of focus, will, and concentration. It's being in your now moment and leveraging all of the resources of the universe, pulling all those co-creative components together to manifest something into reality, to pull it into this moment, this present time. So this is the foundation of the reading. It's why we're having the reading. We're having the reading about this capacity to make whatever we want happen, to create whatever it is that we want. We have this great big butterfly at the top of the picture here, this inspiration piece. So this understanding that this creative generative energy, this imagining and these new beginnings is part of what's sparking our capacity to create something new, our capacity to use our focus and our concentration to pull elements together and make something happen, using our will to pull things together. This is the foundation card. This is why we're having the reading. We are here to create. We are here to manifest. We are here to pull things into the world, not to be distracted in our past or in our future or worrying or fear. It's about being in this moment now and powerfully creating, generating into our future from this now moment. Whatever it is that lights you up is part of what it is that you're here to generate. You may have a part of a solution. You may have a piece of information or a piece of understanding or a grasp of something that is needed for our collective future in a beautiful way. You are essential, and learning to gather your consciousness, your awareness, your focus, your concentration, and direct it, that generative imaginal piece, learning to direct it into creating something, manifesting something, is part of why we are here on this planet right now. We're here to co-create magnificently in this three-dimensional experience. That's our foundation for this coming week. Okay, how we need to conduct ourselves. We have the Princess of Pentacles. So we have another new beginning. And in this case, it's a new beginning on the level of Pentacles, which is the earth element. And the earth element has to do with material things. It can be money, it can be business, it can simply be the three-dimensional stuff of life, the tangible bits that we bump into and interact with. This is sitting in the level of how we need to conduct ourselves. It's this willingness and this openness to craft a new material reality, this dreaming of a new material reality, and having a willingness and an excitement and an enthusiasm to pull that into reality, to make it so. So our homework this week, or our work, is to be thinking about creating, imagining, getting excited about, being inspired by a new material beginning for ourselves personally and for ourselves collectively. We have a lot of structures that don't serve us. We have a lot of ways of being that don't serve us. Let's co-creatively imagine the other possibilities that are out there. There are phenomenal people who are providing wonderful solutions to the problems that we face. From agriculture and raising our food, to new power sources, to, moving things around on the planet. There are phenomenal solutions. And that's that generative, co-creative, imaginal energy that is building right now. There are amazing people on the fringes of our society who haven't been seen or recognized or had their work acknowledged yet, that are bringing forth these incredible solutions. And you might be part of that too. You probably are in some form or fashion, because you're on the planet at this time. So that's what this is talking about. This is talking about these fresh new beginnings, these solutions, this new start on the material level, generating a material world that is harmonious and beautiful and in keeping with the highest and greatest good of everyone. So giving that energy, giving that possibility space in your field this week. And how others are going to be, and we have another major arcana. Now this is a very interesting card in this position, the card of Justice. Justice is the middle card of the major arcana. It could be considered the card of karma, this understanding that we are here in this three-dimensional experience, having a co-creative experience with life. And as a result, we are not stuck. We are not at the effect of. We are here generating, interacting with, and dancing with the energy of life. That's what this card represents. It's the game of ball against the wall, where it doesn't have to bounce the same way every time. You can run forward, you can catch the ball, you can step backward, you can throw it in a different way, you can bounce it twice. That kind of energy about us being in interaction with life. So this is sitting in the position of others. It also means that card of justice, of appropriateness, of rightness, of for the greater goodness. This is going on in the field collectively here. We have people waking up to the fact that what they're putting into the world, they need to be responsible for and accountable for, because ultimately we're each creating in the collective field. We have our little bit of it, but what we're bringing forth is important. And what we bring forth, we need to be responsible for, and not just blame others for things going on in our field or how wrong things are going, but understanding that we are the master of our experience. We are the creator of our experience. Whatever that might be, we're here having an experience of three-dimensional reality. And how are we, from this now moment, responding to life rather than reacting? How are we taking our power? How are we implementing that power? How are we engaging with others? Are we engaging from the position of victim or from the position of powerful co-creator with life? All of this stuff is contained in the Justice card. So this is sitting in the position of others. This is the seeking of justice, the seeking of the greater good for all, and the calling out of that which is out of integrity and not serving the greater good. There's that energy in here as well. I was listening to an astrologer talk about how our Mercury, which one is it? It's Mercury retrograde in Gemini, from May 30th to June 28th. And it's this energy of disclosure, of revelation, of things coming to the surface that are out of integrity with the greater good, out of integrity with responsibility to each other, responsibility to this planet. And so I think we're going to see energy like that coming up. We have a full moon eclipse full moon, that's on the 26th of the month of May. And that's got a lot of energy happening as well. There's just a lot going on astrologically, which any astrologer will tell you they knew this time was going to be crazy. But it's the energies that they're indicating is this, again, this coming to light of things that no longer serve the greater good. So it's interesting to see that reflected here in this card of others, what's going on in the field outside of you, what you're seeing outside of you. But it's also you in the world as well. You taking responsibility for you and your engagement with the world, taking responsibility for your actions, your words, your way of being on the planet. We're powerful co-creators and we need to be responsible co-creators. And that card is reminding us of that because there's an impact. But if you're moving in the direction of your highest enthusiasm and you're allowing yourself to be inspired and motivated and guided by the broader wisdom, you know then that you're moving in the direction of the greater good. That's the intention. If that's the intention that you're holding, then it will serve the greater good. Things will move in such a way that the cooperative components will come together and everything will line up so that it does serve. Your actions, your words, your contributions will serve the greater good. All right, our outcome card for this week, we have the card of signals. And this is a card of communication. It's the card of us putting out into the world and receiving back what we're putting out. It's very much connected to this idea of the karma, and us taking responsibility. What are you saying? What are you putting out into the world? What are you emanating from your field in terms of how you're feeling about things? Because life always meets us on that level. That's our point of attraction. It's not just the words we speak, it's the energy around them. It's the field around them. It's how they feel. That's what the universe matches. That's what it's resonating with. It's that resonance that we're putting out, and our words, our ideas, our actions, our thoughts, our beingness is what life responds to. So this is reminding us to be very mindful of the signals. How are we being in our body? Are we being happy? Are we being inspired? Are we choosing things that help us to be happy and inspired? Are we choosing things that are inspiring us? Are we choosing things that line us up with the greater good in our hearts, our inner well-being? That's what this card is pulling us towards, is this reminder that we are receiving inspiration from the universe and it lights us up and we send more inspiration back. And understanding that co-creative dance, that the part that we play in this unfolding, this lovely interaction that we have with life. The cards this week are lovely and very, very much about our higher selves and our greater good. Major arcanas always are about your reason for being here on the planet, what contribution you're here to make, and kind of a wake-up call to be more present, more aware, more on it. The minor arcana are important too, but they tend to be a little bit more about the mundane rather than the bigger picture energy. So we have this very strong creative imagination energy. Get into your imagination, vision for the collective from a good place. How will that look? How will you feel in that beautiful world that you're envisioning? How will that unfold? How will others look? Will they be thriving as well? What will it be like for the planet? What will it be like for all these beautiful creatures we coexist with? Having that beautiful picture, feeding it, nourishing it, and letting the energy of that build. And present, this energy of understanding that we are more than just our materialistic three-dimensional reductionist perception of life. We are so, so, so much more. We are all connected, and we have abilities that are beyond the understanding of that reductionistic materialistic existence. We are powerful generators, powerful co-creators. We are connected in ways that we don't even begin to understand. And that connection, call them psychic abilities, whatever it is, excuse me, it's part of our human birthright. It's part of what we're here to contribute and be in and develop. So this present card is reminding us that we are more than this, that we need to see beyond the limits of the three-dimensional container that we've been fed is all there is. We are so much more than this. So getting into our wisdom, trusting our heart, trusting our knowingness when we come up against things that don't feel right, that's okay. Be with that, see that, feel that, recognize it, and go, right, get curious. Why is this not comfortable? What would I prefer? It's obviously out of integrity if it's uncomfortable, and it needs to be looked at. It needs to be addressed. And using that wisdom and tuning into that knowingness, the more attention you give it, the more it builds. And the more you pay attention and you implement the wisdom in your experience, the more confidence you have in that aspect of yourself. There's a whole development that happens with the High Priestess. This learning to access that wisdom that we hold, those skills that we hold, and develop them. That's a calling to us in our present moment to access this. This near future, from this greater awareness and this imaginal thing, we have new beginnings. We have this inspiring new beginnings, the level of enthusiasm, creativity, and passion, this waking up to who we are truly. We are these creators, that generative creative energy, imaginal energy, that creative imagination, that's who we are. We're sparks of that here on the planet. We have different ways of expressing it, of course. We're not all Picassos or whoever else. Names escape me at the moment. We are here to generate and co-create and imagine and manifest in different places and different ways, because that's why we have diversity. We're all here doing things differently. That's why we can't understand what's going on in somebody else's field or experience. We can have an empathy and we can have a sympathy, but we cannot understand what another person is here to experience and co-create with life. We have to let them do their thing and get on with their thing. And just on that topic, this idea of, as parents especially, that can be hard. We want to tell our kids what to do and help them avoid pain and suffering. And, from the perspective of sharing your experience and your wisdom, but not from a place of putting them into fear so they get out of doing what it is what they need to do. It's more about, hey, this is what my experience was. I'm just sharing it. You have that information. Now you can go do your thing and have your experience and co-create magnificently with life, because that's what you're here to do in your own unique way. We're all here to have a different experience, whatever that looks like. So don't feel like you have to do things the same way somebody else does. And in fact, please do it your way. Please do it your unique, expressed, wonderful way, because your unique voice is what we need on the planet right now. The foundation of the reading, this generative capacity, this amazing capacity to focus our minds, to focus our energy, to focus our intention, and pull things into reality from the ethers. This incredible energy of making things happen. I think we all have had moments of this, understanding that we were co-creating in the moment something magnificent and wonderful. That's the energy of the magician, and it's the foundation card for this week, understanding just how powerful we are when we combine our abilities, when we take our creative imagination and we allow ourselves to feel into the excitement and the possibility of that vision, and we tap into our knowingness and our bigger picture vision and our capacity to see the interconnection of all things and understand our relatedness to each other, and even the woo-woo stuff like connecting across time and space and seeing things that other people don't see, and all of that stuff is contained in the High Priestess. in this creative possibility space. I mean, when we take all of our gifts and we use them with focus, intention, and responsibility, there's nothing that we can't create. It's so powerful. All right, how we need to conduct ourselves here. This is the Princess of Pentacles. So there's new beginnings, being open to new beginnings, visioning new beginnings for ourselves, for the collective. How is that going to go? How are we going to vision and create this in the world? Awesome card. You might have inspiration for changing things up in your life, moving things around, furniture. I don't know. You'll have inspiration, but being open to not only rejigging your personal life, but the collective vision of newness and new possibilities and new beginnings. This card of justice in the position of others, what we're going to see in the world around us, how that's going to go, not only in the personal people, but in the bigger picture. We have the energy, as I said, of Mercury in retrograde in Gemini, this idea of disclosure, this idea of revelations, this is not only just in the Mercury retrograde, but there's a lot of that energy around structures falling away, understanding things coming to the light that need to be revealed, that so they can be healed, things to be addressed and cleaned up and again healed, so we can move on and we can have a better world for everyone. And this is all contained in this energy of this card. But it's also the card of karma, understanding our role in what we're creating in life. We are not passive participants letting life bulldoze us. We are not at the effect of fate. We are here as powerful, embodied co-dancers with life, and we have responsibility to do our lives from a place of congruence and integrity, knowing who we are, knowing what it is that we're about, and living that to the best of our ability, and not living somebody else's truth, not doing somebody else's life, doing our own life and understanding what that's all about. It's all contained in the energy of justice, in the position of others, and justice being served, justice serving us for the greater good. And the outcome, signals, communication, dancing with life, putting those signals out there and receiving them back, that launching of our desires into the collective, and those coming back to us manifest and showing up in our world. And then that dance, right? Life sends us something, we respond. Life sends us something else, we respond again. That's how it goes. That's the dance of life. If you don't like what you're getting, well, maybe you need to look about what you're emanating into life and focusing instead on what you want instead of what you don't want. It's very easy to fall in the hole of what's inadequate, the cup half empty, and complaining about it and staying stuck in it. And the more you focus on that, the more that becomes your field, your resonance. And that's what life responds to. So work on your resonance, work on your frequency, take responsibility for it, clean it up, because you can have a life full of beauty and enthusiasm and health and well-being and grace and all of those good things. That's all possible. But you've got to clean up your field. You've got to clean up your point of engagement with the universe, understanding that your feelingness, your beingness is what life is responding to. So what's your set point? Are you complaining all the time and miserable and looking for things to complain about? Or are you looking for the good? Are you striving to see the beauty? Are you grateful for all the good in your life? It's powerful, powerful. Small in many ways, big in many ways, but very, very strong in terms of redirecting your life towards the good and what you want to have in your field. Oh, it's a lovely reading this week, people. I'm so pleased to be able to do this with you every week. It helps me too. So let's pull these cards in, and we'll move on to the summary card, the card to grow on, our card for the week. And what do we need to know individually, collectively? How do we take the discernment from this week and apply it in our experience in a good way so we can practice it, live it, thrive in it, and grow from it, and become a cooperative, co-creative component with life in a beautiful way. Oh my goodness, the cards are leaping out of the deck. Let's see if that one comes up again. That was the Seven of Cups, or Hearts in my deck. Illusion. Okay. What do we need to know? What's our card to grow on this week? What is the summary of the wisdom we've received so that we can apply it in the best way possible for ourselves and with others? Oh, we got the Justice card again. Oh, you know it's important when they repeat it. Okay. Excellent justice, excellent karma, excellent understanding of our place in this world, our place in this co-creative adventure. Taking responsibility for us, how we're being in the world, how we're being in life, cleaning that up and moving forward. Understanding that there is an energetic justice to what we experience. And if we're not aware of what we're emanating, we better get on it, because that is huge. That's part of that experience of what it means to become conscious. Who am I being? How am I being about it? How am I speaking? What language am I using? Am I putting myself, again, in the role of victim? Am I putting myself in the role of powerful co-creator with life? Am I appreciating all the beauty in my world? Am I paying attention to who I am and how I'm doing things? This energy is very, very important and very strong. When we each clean up our lives and take responsibility for ourselves, that impacts the collective. That shifts the collective energy. And, if we're lying there and giving our power over and making ourselves a victim and saying, oh, poor me, this happened, this happened, this happened, we're not standing in our power. And then that also impacts the collective dance. Each of us has a role to play to help shift the collective. And our own personal responsibility, our own personal choices, our own personal ways of being are hugely impactful on the collective. Like we saw with the High Priestess, we're all connected. That collective consciousness piece is there. We're part of it. It may not be something that we're comfortable with or familiar with in our third dimensional materialistic reductionistic perspective of life. However, it is still there. It still exists. We are still all interconnected. And everything that we as each individual do impacts everyone else. And so this importance of following our enthusiasm, this importance of taking responsibility, this importance of living our life well from a place of joy, of creative, generative energy, of love, of gratitude, of appreciation, of understanding that we are here as powerful co-creators with life, and that our field, how we exist, what we're emanating into the world, is what we receive from life. You don't like what you're getting, look at how you're emanating. Look at what you're holding. Look at how you're being. And I know that can be really difficult if you're in pain and you're suffering. Start small. Start where you are. Look for the good. Give attention to the good. Whatever it may be, wherever you are, that is a powerful, powerful way of redirecting your focus and changing your programming, changing your frequency. Look for the good. Look for beauty. Beauty opens us up like nothing else. That is why it exists. It is here to open our hearts. It is here to put us in a state of grace. It is here to put us in a state of love. It is here to open us up to gratitude and appreciation. Beauty is one of the most profound aspects of creation that's here in service to us. So wherever you are on the spectrum of life, reach for the beauty, reach for the love, reach for the appreciation, and that will shift you like nothing else will. And you have to understand, it's like a cruise ship turning. It takes time to change the momentum of something so large. If you've been doing something for a long time, it can take time to change it, but it can change. Be patient. Love yourself through it. You're doing great. We're all doing great. It's a lot of work. We got a lot on our plates right now, but we chose to be here at this time. We are all here intentionally at this time on this planet, making the choices that we are, and adding to this collective justice, adding to this collective well-being, adding to the collective karmic picture. Our individual actions are incredibly important to serving the greater good. So this week, this card to grow on is all about taking responsibility for yourself, your thoughts, your ideas, your action. Where are you putting your energy, your attention, your focus? Understanding how important that is in this creative, generative energy, this karmic dance with life, this justice. How are we serving the greater good? And are we serving it from a good place? And I encourage you, if you don't think you are, well, get curious about how you could do that better, how you could shift your focus in a way, because when we walk this way, not only does it serve us, but when we're in a good place, it serves everyone else around us. It's always, always in our best interest to walk in a good way. Because ultimately, it's how we contribute meaningfully, because we're all connected. Okay, with that lovely energy and thought, I wish you guys a wonderful, wonderful week. I hope you find your peaceful clarity around your path, your co-creative dance with life, and you're able to bring that beautiful, creative imagination energy into envisioning your role in life, your place in life, and living into that, knowing that those little nudges from your feelings are guiding you. You don't feel good, you know you're off. You feel good, you know you're on. And keep that happening. Keep that momentum building. It's all of us. It's all of us taking little steps. We don't have to bite it all off in one day. Small steps. And that turns things, and we change. And as we change, our biology changes, and it gets easier and easier to be in that field, to be that person that we want ourselves to be, to reach for the highest and best aspects of ourselves, and to embody it now. You've got this. We've got this. We're all here to do this dance right here, right now, in our own unique way. Oh, that was good, Creator. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to do this reading this week. Thank you to all those who helped hold the space. I'm so grateful for the wisdom that comes through. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to share it with others. I'm so grateful that we can do this together, that we get to meet up every week and understand our experience here in a good way, so we can be of service in our own lives, to ourselves, to each other, and to this beautiful planet we call home. I ask for continued love, guidance, presence, and peace for each and every person on this call this week, as we each forge forward into this world, holding our wisdom, holding our knowledge, imagining beautiful things for the future, and loving ourselves into that space, being kind to ourselves as we change and grow and become more than we were. The reading is at an end. I am so grateful to each and every one of you, and I'm so grateful to all those who've held this space with us today. I look forward to seeing you again next week. Much love and light, everybody.